Good day everyone and welcome to another vlog for the Exodus 7 to 12 KJV project. In this vlog I get to show you the final part of the storyboards. Woohoo! Yay! And I get to show you a few other cool things that I'm not going to tell you about right now. You have to watch. So, first things first, last part.
Bless me also.
We be all dead men.
And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required. And they spoiled the Egyptians. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramesses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men, beside children. And they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt, and could not tarry, neither had they prepared for themselves any victual. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel, who dwelt in Egypt, was 430 years. And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the self-same day it came to pass, that all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. It is a night to be much observed unto the Lord for bringing them out from the land of Egypt, this is that night of the Lord to be observed of all the children of Israel in their generations.
This is the ordinance of the Passover, there shall no stranger eat thereof, but every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. A foreigner and an hired servant shall not eat thereof. In one house shall it be eaten, thou shalt not carry forth aught of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall yet break a bone thereof. All the congregation of Israel shall keep it. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it, and he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you.
Thus did all the children of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. And it came to pass the self-same day, that the Lord did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies.
Awesome! Woohoo! Okay, so obviously this will look a lot better when it's like the final one, and it'll be a lot more fascinating. But interestingly enough, I think it was last week, I watched the whole thing through. Now, surprisingly enough, the whole thing is literally a few seconds short of being 29 minutes. I mean, look at that right there. It's like 4 seconds. So if you guys want to, I can just add 4 seconds of black there. No, I'm kidding. It'll probably be a little bit over 30 minutes with establishing shots and all that kind of stuff. The goal is not to overwhelm the viewer with this sort of thing. The goal is just to show the scale of the situation. Okay, so anyway, getting back on point. We have, of course, those still shots, and then that. I did a few calculations about the whole 430 years and stuff, but you can check that out in the previous post, link in the description. And I did these extra drawings, showing what they had gotten from the Egyptians, as well as an additional drawing to show that, a few drawings actually, to show what had happened with the dough and all that kind of stuff. Because, as you can see, there's a shot list after they were urgent upon the people, you just go, it doesn't matter, just go, that sort of thing. And it's just, we be all dead men, and then there's a shot list, and the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading troughs being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders, and the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. So of course we have that, and we have jewels of gold and jewels of silver, and we have raiment. Oh yeah. And of course then they traveled from Ramesses to Succoth, or as the e-reader reads it. Can I call it an e-reader? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So the people journey. And interestingly enough, I did a little scoping out, and for the maps that I found, it showed that this area was a plain. Now, in my mind, that plain was not as big as it physically is. So I imagined that this area would be, flat as far as you can see, but in the way distance you will see mountains. Now, while that is true, you can barely see the mountains. The mountains are almost as thick as this line over here when you're standing in that spot where Succoth would have probably been. That is some serious flat Earth right there. And no, I don't think the Earth is flat. I'm just using that as a funny term. So anyway, the mountains in the distance will pretty much be non-existent. You'll only see this campsite in the middle of nowhere, basically. Interestingly enough, though, a few weeks ago I found a few articles that said, a few articles that said that the Sinai Peninsula was under Egyptian control because they mined there. And apparently there have been recent attempts to start mining there again, but it just didn't prove fruitful. What they did is they mined turquoise there. You'll see in a lot of Egyptian jewelry that the stuff is very inlaid into things, and it's amulets and it's bracelets and charms and you name it. Just Google Egyptian jewelry and you'll see how much turquoise they used. So it makes absolute sense. So that means that even though it may not qualify in our minds as Egypt, if you mine somewhere, you pretty much have permission to be there, and if somebody wants to dispossess you, that makes it your territory. So I define it like a lot of other people define it as at least the majority of the Sinai Peninsula belong to Egypt. So I don't know if in biblical terms Egypt would just be defined as one of their major cities, or whether Egypt was also defined as the entire country. Because a lot of times you'll find that it says that in Egypt, and then it says in all the land of Egypt and that sort of thing. So it seems kind of interchangeable, but that's for the blog. So anyway, and then there's this memory type flash thing because it's supposed to be an ordinance. And of course then God gives them the ordinance of the Passover and no stranger, only if they're circumcised, only in one house, not allowed to carry it over to another house. All the congregation of Israel shall eat it. If the sojourner wants to eat of it, he has to be circumcised, and then he shall come forward and eat it. And there shall only be one law for the entire nation. Even for the one that wasn't born an Israelite, they can become an Israelite, and there is absolutely no discrimination allowed on any kind of basis like that. There's one law for everyone. Love that. And of course, then it's just that the children of Israel went away and did that. This is just to establish a quiet shot that's kind of, it resembles victory, It's a brand new day, that sort of thing. It's a little bit cliche, I admit that, but this is not necessarily going to be the final image for the ending, but who knows? God knows. So, and then there's a fade out and boom. And of course, that's just the beginning of it. And all that kind of stuff. But you can read all that in scripture. Woo! So that's it for the storyboards. Okay, so here we have Moses doing a walk cycle. This was something I wanted to do in a rotoscoping kind of method. That's the way I felt led to go. And while it didn't work for Moses specifically, it certainly got me to actually, shoot some reference footage, so that I can actually see what it looks like from the outside. Additionally, God had me walk with a stick this week, which was interesting. My brother had this old stick that he wanted to learn to do martial arts with and all that kind of stuff. And I like the look of it visually, but it's really not my thing. Anyway, so I found that stick in the house, and I walked with that this week. And it's interesting how little you actually use the stick as a walking aid. And it's also kind of strange how much you actually carry the stick versus walking with it in the typical way that you would imagine somebody walking with a stick. I'm going to be showing you some of the walk cycles. This was the first rendered walk cycle after working on it for pretty much most of the afternoon. And following this one came pretty much fine-tuning and a cool trick with the NLA Editor, which I want to show you after. So this is just him walking. As you can see, the arm is a little bit too loose. I do like the overall smoothness of it though. He kind of looks like he's marching, you know. Very cool. I also made sure that I left the displacement on so that as he moves, there's actually interaction with his outfit and his hair. So you can see as he's walking that it actually does have an effect on his hair. It's kind of like a wind effect. And of course he's carrying the stick. He's not walking with it in the typical fashion. So this one I modified a little bit because when I showed this to my mom, she felt like Moses was walking in a circle. Now, anyone who knows walk cycles and stuff like that would know that that would probably not be the case if a walk cycle is being demonstrated. You won't have your character run in a circle. I just wanted the camera to go around him. But just to make that point clear, I added a few particle systems of cubes and one cube array to form some pillars and stuff just to show that Moses isn't, walking in a circle. So obviously this one is updated, but it's very slow. I felt the previous one was too fast and too marchy. And I found that reducing it, at least in the viewport, made it look a lot more relaxed and normal, all that kind of stuff. But it turned out to be like super, super slow, as you can see. It just didn't work. Plus the hand is still too loose. So moving on. So this was just a viewport render, pretty much the same thing. I think I've actually made it slower in this one. So I'm not super jazzed about this one either. Moving on. This one is a little bit faster, and of course I modified him a little bit in terms of the hand movement. As you can see, it's not as stiff. You can see the hand swings a little bit differently, but I was still not super happy with this. Having said that, this was better than the previous one that was way too slow. Oh, interestingly enough, this outline effect is achieved with the ambient occlusion in the viewport. All you need to do is you just need to make it like super, super sharp, and you'll get these fill-in kind of lines. And it's a cool look. You can render all animation in it. Just have to watch out for small areas like the eyes. And finally, one that I was happy with for the most part in terms of the speed and how it looked. The only thing I wasn't happy with was the hand. And my dad also said that his hand shaking doesn't look realistic. So I said, don't you worry, I already noticed that. Anyway, so I changed the hand for this walk cycle and of course added some eye movement and the mouth moving, all that kind of stuff. And this is where the NLA editor came in, because I had to make another walk cycle where he was actually using the stick, and I still have to make one where he is angry and kind of storming. So that is next. Okay, so this would be the NLA one. What I did was I used the normal walk cycle that you just saw, but just with the hand fixed. And the new one that I did after that one, with the stick being used as a walking aid. Not really walking aid, but whatever, in the typical use that you would think of somebody walking with a stick. And of course, then back to him carrying it. The transition was a little bit too long for me, so it looked a little bit too rigid, especially that part. The transition I've noticed when I walk with a stick is a lot quicker than that and a lot smoother than that. But I am fairly happy with the drop of the stick, because that is kind of choppy, even when you're actually doing it yourself. So I modified this one as well, so that it's a little bit quicker. And that I can show you in the viewport. Okay, so the trick I want to show you guys in the NLA editor, as you can see we are in the NLA right now. I quickly modified Moses just so we can see him in the viewport easily. The trick is that you use the NLA editor as a video editor for actions. The NLA editor is pretty much like a non-linear action editor. That's what I think it stands for. You can move these tracks around on these various tracks over here. And the coolest way, or the easiest way to add an action, is to select your object. You check, for example, this is Moses's armature. You click on this area that says no action, and you go up here where it says animation data. You click on that and you click here, or you click in here and you select an action. If you do this, it will immediately pop into another gray block like this, and you can move it around and duplicate it and all that kind of stuff so that you can produce animations just like this. The purpose for this is so that you don't have to animate every single step by hand. I mean, let's say your character is walking, in Moses' case, up to Pharaoh. That's probably going to be in the region of 30 steps. Now, number one, you're not going to show every step. Number two, it's a waste of time to animate every step, especially have a walk cycle, if you have a walk cycle. And lastly, I'll put a link in a few tutorials in the post about walk cycles and how to make a character walk along a certain path for that walk cycle, etc. So that will also cover a little bit of the NLA editor, and yeah. Oh, just for the sake of those who are interested, I'm going to render out the whole storyboard thing and add that to the end of this video. So if you want to watch that, stay tuned. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a great one, and God bless you.
See, I have made thee a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet. Thou shalt speak all that I command thee, and Aaron thy brother shall speak unto Pharaoh, that he send the children of Israel out of his land. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. But Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that I may lay my hand upon Egypt, and bring forth mine armies, and my people the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt by great judgments. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I stretch forth mine hand upon Egypt, and bring out the children of Israel from among them.
And Moses and Aaron did as the Lord commanded them, so did they. And Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron 83 years old, when they spake unto Pharaoh.
When Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, Show a miracle for you, then thou shalt say unto Aaron, Take thy rod, and cast it before Pharaoh, and it shall become a serpent. Pharaoh's heart is hardened, he refused to let the people go. Get thee unto Pharaoh in the morning, lo, he goeth out unto the water, and thou shalt stand by the river's brink against he come, and the rod which was turned to a serpent shalt thou take in thine hand. And thou shalt say unto him, The Lord God of the Hebrews hath sent me unto thee, saying, Let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness, and, behold, hitherto thou wouldest not hear. Thus saith the Lord, In this thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in mine hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. And the fish that is in the river shall die, and the river shall stink, and the Egyptians shall live it to drink of the water of the river. Say unto Aaron, Take thy rod, and stretch out thine hand upon the waters of Egypt, upon their streams, upon their rivers, and upon their ponds, and upon all their pools of water, that they may become blood, and that there may be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood, and in vessels of stone.
And 7 days were fulfilled, after that the Lord had smitten the river.
Go unto Pharaoh, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Let my people go, that they may serve me. And if thou refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite all thy borders with frogs, and the river shall bring forth frogs abundantly, which shall go up and come into thine house, and into thy bedchamber, and upon thy bed, and into the house of thy servants, and upon thy people, and into thine ovens, and into thine eating troughs, and the frogs shall come up both on thee, and upon thy people, and upon all thy servants. Say unto Aaron, Stretch forth thine hand with thy rod over the streams, over the rivers, and over the ponds, and cause frogs to come up upon the land of Egypt. Entreat the Lord, that he may take away the frogs from me, and from my people, and I will let the people go, that they may do sacrifice unto the Lord. Glory over me, when shall I entreat for thee, and for thy servants, and for thy people, to destroy the frogs from thee and thy houses, that they may remain in the river only. Tomorrow. Be it according to thy word, that thou mayest know that there is none like unto the Lord our God. And the frogs shall depart from thee, and from thy houses, and from thy servants, and from thy people, they shall remain in the river only.
And Moses cried unto the Lord because of the frogs which he had brought against Pharaoh. And the Lord did according to the word of Moses, and the frogs died out of the houses, out of the villages, and out of the fields. And they gathered them together upon heaps, and the land stank. But when Pharaoh saw that there was respite, he hardened his heart, and hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had said.
Say unto Aaron, Stretch out thy rod, and smite the dust of the land, that it may become lice throughout all the land of Egypt. This is the finger of God. Rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh. Lo, he cometh forth to the water, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Let my people go, that they may serve me. Else, if thou wilt not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies upon thee, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, and into thy houses, and the houses of the Egyptians shall be full of swarms of flies, and also the ground whereon they are. And I will sever in that day the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there, to the end thou mayest know that I am the Lord in the midst of the earth. And I will put a division between my people and thy people, tomorrow shall this sign be.
The land was corrupted by reason of the swarm of flies. And Pharaoh called for Moses and for Aaron, and said,
Go yet, sacrifice to your God in the land. It is not meet so to do, for we shall sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians to the Lord our God. Lo, shall we sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians before their eyes, and will they not stone us? We will go 3 days' journey into the wilderness, and sacrifice to the Lord our God, as he shall command us. I will let you go, that ye may sacrifice to the Lord your God in the wilderness, only ye shall not go very far away, entreat for me. Behold, I go out from thee, and I will entreat the Lord that the swarms of flies may depart from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people, tomorrow, but let not Pharaoh deal deceitfully any more in not letting the people go to sacrifice to the Lord. Go in unto Pharaoh, and tell him, Thus saith the Lord God of the Hebrews, Let my people go, that they may serve me. For if thou refuse to let them go, and wilt hold them still, behold, the hand of the Lord is upon thy cattle which is in the field, upon the horses, upon the asses, upon the camels, upon the oxen, and upon the sheep, there shall be a very grievous murrain. And the Lord shall sever between the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Egypt, and there shall nothing die of all that is the children's of Israel. Tomorrow the Lord shall do this thing in the land.
And all the cattle of Egypt died, but of the cattle of the children of Israel died not one.
Take to you handfuls of ashes of the furnace, and let Moses sprinkle it toward the heaven in the sight of Pharaoh. And it shall become small dust in all the land of Egypt, and shall be a boil breaking forth with blains upon man, and upon beast, throughout all the land of Egypt. Rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God of the Hebrews, Let my people go, that they may serve me. For I will at this time send all my plagues upon thine heart, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, that thou mayest know that there is none like me in all the earth. For now I will stretch out my hand, that I may smite thee and thy people with pestilence, and thou shalt be cut off from the earth. And in very deed for this cause have I raised thee up, for to shew in thee my power, and that my name may be declared throughout all the earth. As yet exaltest thou thyself against my people, that thou wilt not let them go. Behold, tomorrow about this time I will cause it to rain a very grievous hail, such as hath not been in Egypt since the foundation thereof even until now. Send therefore now, and gather thy cattle, and all that thou hast in the field, for upon every man and beast which shall be found in the field, and shall not be brought home, the hail shall come down upon them, and they shall die.
He that feared the word of the Lord among the servants of Pharaoh made his servants and his cattle flee into the houses, and he that regarded not the word of the Lord left his servants and his cattle in the field.
Stretch forth thine hand toward heaven, that there may be hail in all the land of Egypt, upon man, and upon beast, and upon every herb of the field, throughout the land of Egypt.
So there was hail, and fire mingled with the hail, very grievous, such as there was none like it in all the land of Egypt since it became a nation.
I have sinned this time, the Lord is righteous, and I and my people are wicked. Entreat the Lord, for it is enough, that there be no more mighty thunderings and hail, and I will let you go, and ye shall stay no longer. As soon as I am gone out of the city, I will spread abroad my hands unto the Lord, and the thunder shall cease, neither shall there be any more hail, that thou mayest know how that the earth is the Lord's. But as for thee and thy servants, I know that ye will not yet fear the Lord God. Go in unto Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart, and the heart of his servants, that I might shew these my signs before him, and that thou mayest tell in the ears of thy son, and of thy son's son, what things I have wrought in Egypt, and my signs which I have done among them, that ye may know how that I am the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God of the Hebrews, how long wilt thou refuse to humble thyself before me? Let my people go, that they may serve me. Else, if thou refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow will I bring the locusts into thy coast, and they shall cover the face of the earth, that one cannot be able to see the earth, and they shall eat the residue of that which is escaped, which remaineth unto you from the hail, and shall eat every tree which groweth for you out of the field. And they shall fill thy houses, and the houses of all thy servants, and the houses of all the Egyptians, which neither thy fathers, nor thy fathers' fathers have seen, since the day that they were upon the earth unto this day. How long shall this man be a snare unto us? Let the men go, that they may serve the Lord their God. Knowest thou not yet that Egypt is destroyed? Go, serve the Lord your God, but who are they that shall go? We will go with our young and with our old, with our sons and with our daughters, with our flocks and with our herds will we go, for we must hold a feast unto the Lord. Let the Lord be so with you, as I will let you go, and your little ones, look to it, for evil is before you. Not so, go now ye that are men, and serve the Lord, for that ye did desire. Stretch out thine hand over the land of Egypt for the locusts, that they may come up upon the land of Egypt, and eat every herb of the land, even all that the hail hath left. I have sinned against the Lord your God, and against you. Now therefore forgive, I pray thee, my sin only this once, and entreat the Lord your God, that he may take away from me this death only. Stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt.
And there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days, they saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days, but all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings.
Go yet, serve the Lord, only let your flocks and your herds be stayed, let your little ones also go with you. Thou must give us also sacrifices and burnt offerings, that we may sacrifice unto the Lord our God. Our cattle also shall go with us, there shall not an hoof be left behind, for thereof must we take to serve the Lord our God, and we know not with what we must serve the Lord, until we come thither. Get thee from me, take heed to thyself, see my face no more, for in that day thou southeastest my face thou shalt die. Thou hast spoken well, I will see thy face again no more. Yet will I bring one plague more upon Pharaoh, and upon Egypt, afterwards he will let you go hence. When he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out hence altogether. Speak now in the ears of the people, and let every man borrow of his neighbor, and every woman of her neighbor, jewels of silver, and jewels of gold.
And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Moreover the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh's servants, and in the sight of the people.
Thus saith the Lord, about midnight will I go out into the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservant that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of beasts. And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it, nor shall be like it any more. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue, against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. And all these thy servants shall come down unto me, and bow down themselves unto me, saying, Get thee out, and all the people that follow thee, and after that I will go out.
And Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh, and the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Israel go out of his land.
This month shall be unto you the beginning of months, it shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak yet unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house, and if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls, every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. This month shall be unto you the beginning of months, it shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak yet unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house, and if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls, every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year, ye shall take it out from the sheep, or from the goats, and ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood, and strike it on the 2 side posts and on the upper door post of the houses, wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire, and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire, his head with his legs, and with the purtenance thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. And thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are, and when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you, when I smite the land of Egypt. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread, even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. And in the first day there shall be an holy convocation, and in the 7th day there shall be an holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread, until the 21st day of the month at even. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses, for whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger, or born in the land. Ye shall eat nothing leavened. In all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread. Draw out and take you a lamb according to your families, and kill the Passover. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop, and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the 2 side posts with the blood that is in the basin, and none of you shall go out at the door of his house until the morning. For the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel, and on the 2 side posts, the Lord will pass over the door, and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you. And ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever. And it shall come to pass, when ye be come to the land which the Lord will give you, according as he hath promised, that ye shall keep this service. And it shall come to pass, when your children shall say unto you, What mean ye by this service? That ye shall say, It is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians, and delivered our houses.
And the children of Israel went away, and did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. And it came to pass, that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt. Rise up, and get you forth from among my people, both ye and the children of Israel, and go, serve the Lord, as ye have said. Also take your flocks and your herds, as ye have said, and be gone, and bless me also.
We be all dead men.
And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required. And they spoiled the Egyptians. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramesses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men, beside children. And they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt, and could not tarry, neither had they prepared for themselves any victual. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel, who dwelt in Egypt, was 430 years. And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the selfsame day it came to pass, that all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. It is a night to be much observed unto the Lord for bringing them out from the land of Egypt, This is that night of the Lord to be observed of all the children of Israel in their generations.
This is the ordinance of the Passover, there shall no stranger eat thereof, but every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof. A foreigner and an hired servant shall not eat thereof. In one house shall it be eaten, thou shalt not carry forth aught of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall ye break a bone thereof. All the congregation of Israel shall keep it. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it, and he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you.
Thus did all the children of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. And it came to pass the selfsame day, that the Lord did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies.